Magic the Gathering's new secret lair, Party Hard, Shred Harder, is the craziest thing they've ever done. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. We are here today to talk about another amazing secret lair. You know what? I've changed up the order we're going to do things in. We'll do the Seb McKinnon secret lair last as the delicious dessert to all this, because I'm going to be real. The secret lair we're going to talk about today is so insane, I actually couldn't conceive of it. I remember seeing the name for this secret lair and the card list, and I went, okay, it's about creature destruction. But I really didn't have any idea of what we were being set up for, because this secret lair is the craziest theme we've ever had. Sure, we had The Walking Dead, where you have this show coming in. We had Godzilla. We've had some craziness, but there's nothing like this. These cards are done in the style of like old metal album covers or posters. They're absolutely incredible. It doesn't matter whether you're like a Mega Breath fan and you love that album Master of Puppies, or if you like Metallica and their amazing album Ride My Thunder, like whatever it is. If you like metal, you're going to love these cards. So let's dive in and start looking at the insanity. We are going to start with Anguish On Making. What's really cool about this secret lair is the idea that the concept is like pick magic card names that literally sound like metal band names. And Anguish On Making really does sound like a metal band name. And the artwork, this is where you can see right away, looking at this card, it doesn't look like a magic card at all, does it? No, it looks like an old school poster or something like that. It's absolutely amazing. At the top, you have the name Anguish On Making and that kind of like crazy, chaotic, lightning energy vibe to it, right? And then below it, you've got this absolutely insane artwork where you've got these two angel wings, right? And it looks like spears have been driven through each of the wings, pinning it to this massive metal gate that's like floating in space. And there's all these skulls around and everything like that. And the crazy symbol in the middle is actually obviously very reminiscent of the Avacyn symbol, right? Like the Church of Avacyn. It's very, very, very similar to that icon. And that's being like smashed apart as a sword's being driven down into it. It's so crazy, dude. And the cool thing is that all of the elements of the card are there. The card name's at the top, Anguish On Making. Right below it, at the top of the gate, you can see the casting cost of 1 white, 1 black, and 1. And I like how that's tucked in here. What we're going to see with almost all of these cards is the mana symbols are used in an enjoyable way with the way that they display the cost and everything. So you can see they clearly have instant printed on there as well. And down at the bottom, it says, exile target non-land permanent, you lose 3 life. This is such an old school concept that is executed so well. I have to say, I'm a huge fan of this, although I do fully understand that there will be some people who feel like, bro, these aren't magic cards. I'm not down with it. Secret Lair is the one place where I'm cool with this kind of stuff. If this was in a normal magic set, like just, oh, hey, I bought a box of Zendikar Rising and this was in here, that would feel weird to me. But this style done through Secret Lair where you get like hand done, because that's what this is, right? As far as I understand, this is not digitally rendered artwork. This is totally done by hand artwork, like just in the old school days. So you've got a bunch of awesome destruction spells, and Anguish On Making is just a solid card, right? You can get rid of any non-land permanent. Sure, you lose 3 life, but it exiles it instead. And like the idea behind the original card is that Sorin is anguished as he unmakes Avacyn, but it totally works as this sick rock on sort of album cover. So let's move on to the next card because we got a lot to talk about here. The next one we're going to talk about is Assassin's Trophy. First of all, the whole green-black feel of this card is great, right? In terms of matching the colors of the card, this is one of the best ones at doing that job. And Assassin's Trophy, again, 100% sounds like, welcome to the stage, Assassin's Trophy! You know what I mean? Like, that's 100% legit. So Assassin's Trophy is 1 green and 1 black for an instant that destroys target permanent an opponent controls. And its controller can go through their deck for a basic land, put it into play tap, right? So overall, a pretty solid Magic card. Great destruction. The artwork is pretty funky. Again, we've got clearly album cover material where you have what looks like the body of kind of like a Knight Templar or some sort of adventure. You can see if you look on his head, he has the chainmail coif kind of thing going on. So he's got that old school armor, and he's been there for a while. And you can see that as the plants are overgrowing him. And that's a funky concept of the whole, like, I'm going to destroy your creature. Here's the land that you get as a result of that. And the idea of, like, this being an Assassin's Trophy is just an amazingly cool concept. The whole card works really well. The Assassin's Trophy feels like one of the clearest in terms of, like, overall design to me. I like it. You know what I'm doing is I'm starting out with the ones that don't excite me quite as much, and we're going to finish off with the one that absolutely blows my mind. Okay, so let's move on to the next awesome card we have to talk about, and that is Decimate. Again, 100% sounds like a metal band name, so it checks that box. The artwork here is really, really cool. You've got like an evil spirit that's looming above this entire scene of carnage, right? As you can see, these little like goblin-y demonic beasts are laying waste to everything. In the background, you can see that there is a village, kind of, you know, like you see the little steeple of at least a church, and there's all kinds of flags and stuff like that. So they're just out there destroying everything. And the whole frame of this card is fantastic. It's got a delightful, mostly symmetrical design for the outer frame of it. I mean, once you get into the actual beasts inside that are battling, it's asymmetrical, but mostly it's got a symmetrical feel, which I really dig. You know, you've got the little skeletons on either side with their arm raised up. The spirit itself is symmetrical. The casting cost, honestly, on this one, the location of it feels weird, right? That 1 green, 1 red, and 2. I feel like it would have been better if it had just been moved over to the middle, but I'm guessing probably when they did the design, they tried it in a number of different places and it didn't fit. But for me, I think if they took that casting cost and put it up at the top, right above the word Decimate, that would, to me, visually feel better. But it's a minor nitpick, I'll be real, right? Overall, it's a really good design, but I feel like this is the one card where the mana symbols stick out the most. So Decimate is an interesting older school card. It's 1 green, 1 red, and 2. And it's a sorcery that says destroy target artifact, target creature, target enchantment, and target land. Now, the thing about this card is it is a 4-for-1. You literally get to destroy 4 different permanents, but at the same time, you have to have 4 targets available. And if you don't, then you can't actually play the spell. So it is kind of tricky in the way where they literally have to have everything on that list. And if they're missing even one thing, then you have to destroy something of your own that fits the bill. And that's what keeps this card from being too strong. Because when you read it, you're like, wow, I get to destroy 4 things. So in like a big multiplayer game of Commander, that could be really awesome. But in a one-on-one game, you're not going to get to do that as frequently. But overall, Decimate is an awesome card. The artwork fits, looks 100% like a metal album. Love it. Love it. Now, let's move on to my favorite 2. So we're going to talk about Dreadborn first. And oh my God, this artwork is incredible. Like Dreadborn, oh my, if the next card wasn't like just miles cooler than this, I would have put this at number 1 because it's absolutely amazing. I like the fact that it's a red-black card, right? So the artwork's got that red-black vibe to it, which is great. The way that the mana symbols are placed, like down at the bottom, you've got the Dreadborn name across the card. And right above that, you've got the red and the black mana symbols on the side of this triangle. And inside the triangle is where it says the card type sorcery. The design is so good. And in the actual name of Dreadborn, they've stamped that Rakdos symbol, which works so well on this card. Like, Dreadborn sounds like an amazing name for a metal band. And the artwork depicts this individual, like, this insanely powerful individual who's literally sending these crazy blades of fire or arrows of fire, depending on how you view it, out into 6 different people at once. Essentially, this would be like a group of soldiers as a creature, you know what I mean? And they're literally just like this, like it's nothing, just and the beams are just blasting out in an epic power move, right? And you've got, actually behind all of this, you've got a bigger demon that's like responsible for it all. It's like this individual is channeling the power of the demon to just blast out this crazy magic, right? And Dreadborn destroys a creature or a planeswalker, in case you didn't know. So that like fits perfectly with the flavor of this card and the box frame around it. Like, these cards are incredible. This artwork is absolutely amazing. Dreadborn is so good, but there is something better, my friends. And that is Thraximundar. What a cool choice for this secret lair, because Thraximundar 100% sounds like a metal band name, right? It's just got this kind of like jagged edge to the name, really. I've always thought Thraximundar was an insane name. Now, the design of it overall, it's interesting how it's got this gray kind of like muted tone overall. Thraximundar is actually an insane like zombie undead beast lord, right? He is just this creative force unto his own in the worst possible way. And by that, I mean what he creates is more death and more undead. Thraximundar hails from the Grixis Shard of Alara. Now, the Grixis Shard of Alara literally has no real life to it. Almost everything there is lifeless, right? That's the whole vibe of the place. Life energy has to be traded around or whatever, but Thraximundar has thrived in this environment. He is a massive force of destruction, just a giant pile of undead muscle. And the craziest thing about Thraximundar is he actually heads an army of the dead, but he doesn't care. Like, he doesn't want to be a king. He doesn't want kingdoms. He doesn't want to rule. It's all a side effect of Thraximundar being what he is. And that's just an engine of destruction. Thraximundar is an undead like zombie lord who is drawn to any place where there is like chaos and battle taking place. He's just inexorably drawn towards those scenarios. But here's the thing. He's not there to aid one side or anything. He's literally just there to destroy everyone. That's what he is all about. And as he lays waste to people, they rise again as undead in his service. So if you're slain by Thraximundar, you become his thrall and become part of this teeming horde of undead that follow him wherever he goes. He leads this gigantic tide of undead that crashes like a wave on whatever his current target is. And he's drawn to wherever there is conflict. What an amazingly cool concept for a creature, right? And it totally, tell me that doesn't sound metal. Like that wouldn't be the backstory for like some crazy metal beast, you know? Dude, 100%. So Thraximundar is 1 red, 1 black, 1 blue, and 4 mana. Big steep casting cost. You get yourself a 6/6, and look at how cool and stylized the 6/6 box is for the power and toughness, right? And then you've got legendary creature, zombie assassin. This one really feels like a movie poster to me, and I love it. And then he's got haste. I love that, like the little kind of different color for his ability with the lines coming off it. The design choices are amazing. So it says, whenever Thraximundar attacks, defending player sacrifices a creature. Whenever a player sacrifices a creature, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Thraximundar. That's crazy. You can either view that +1/+1 counter as Thraximundar just feeding on the essence of destruction and growing stronger himself, or you can view it from the perspective of every +1/+1 counter is just more being added to that zombie horde that follows him wherever he goes on his path of destruction. And the artwork for this card, he looks so cool, right? He's standing there in what looks almost like an eye, right? It looks like a giant orange eye. Could also be a portal. He's right there in the middle of it with a crazy flaming blade extended. And there's only a few points of non-gray color on this. You've got his sword, you've got the portal with it leaking around, a little bit coming out of his staff, and then the glow in his eyes. And it's got that kind of hellish aspect, which I really dig. And the artwork also is very spiky. There's a lot of protrusions adding to the sort of like dangerous aspect of Thraximundar. And I dig also the whole staff and sword vibe. You know what I mean? In some styles of fantasy, it's like, you either wield a sword or a staff. If you're a magic user, you can't wield these kind of weapons. But Thraximundar is a force unto himself. And those rules do not apply to Thraximundar because nothing can destroy the metal. All right, so that wraps up all of the amazing cards from the Secret Lair. I have to say, absolutely love this Secret Lair, but I can completely understand if there are other people looking to go, whoa, I really don't like this. These don't even count as magic cards, because I've had that reaction to other things. So let me know what you think about all this, my friends. Are you on board? Are you like, oh yeah? Or are you like, oh no? Or do you just not care? For me, I'm stoked about these Secret Lairs. I've been digging all the different amazing artwork and concepts, and this one particularly has got me really excited to see what other kind of curveballs Wizards of the Coast plans on tossing our way. You know what I mean? I get super excited about new Magic cards. I'm a sucker for that stuff. I'm always running up to say, what's new, Papa? What's new? So let me know your thoughts. If you like what I'm doing here, like, comment, subscribe. It's all great for the channel. If you love what I'm doing, jump on my Patreon. And as a final note, I'm going to leave a link to a hilarious video on my other channel. And other than that, I will see some of you tomorrow, and I'll see some of you tonight. We've reinstalled the Tome of Champions / Tome of Lords. All right, so thanks for coming by. Goodbye for now.